post-match analysis for Chat with Chaps, where it finished at the Den. Millwall 1, Swansea City 0. 5 wins on the bounce at home. We are now in 7th place in the league with just goal difference separating us from Coventry in 6th spot. It is going to the wire, ladies and gentlemen. It is absolutely going to the wire, and we go to Burnley next week with absolutely all to play for still. And whatever happens, I think we can just say that Alex Neil and the lads that we've got there at the minute are doing a remarkable job, considering we've still got 10 players out injured. And, I think next week is just an opportunity to just enjoy it and see what happens. Burnley, I think they're on 32-game unbeaten streak. The last team to beat them, Millwall. We shall see how it goes. But as always, let's get into it for the game, obviously at home against Swansea. Before I do, as always, if you've not yet liked, subscribed, shared, please do that right now. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. It all really helps the channel. Everything we're doing this season, as you know, is for cancer research. At the moment, we're on £8,500. The opportunity to donate will stay open until the end of the season, so there's still a little bit more time, and obviously that will be linked in the description below. So thank you all, as always, very, very much for your kind generosity and just for listening. We really appreciate it. All right, so going into this game then, you've got Swansea, who are the informed side in the league, right? They were 6 unbeaten. I think they only conceded 1 goal that time as well, which was against QPR in the last game. They've won 5 straight games. And under Alan Sheehan, they've been going great guns. I did a little bit of research on them, and statistically, they are one of the best sides in the league. I think they were second or third, or kind of all of the metrics that would lead to pressing and off the ball work. And I think we saw that play out, didn't we? I thought they were a good side, Swansea. I'll be honest. I think they. Look, we beat them and whatever, but I think it was certainly a game of 2 halves, and it could have gone either way. We go into the game, obviously, knowing that Luton beat Coventry in the very last minute. Are the stars aligning? But Luton beat Coventry in the very, very last minute. That made a bit of a party atmosphere at the Den. It was a sellout. It was decent weather. It was weird because I actually then, because Luton had beat Coventry and we had an opportunity, I felt more nervous. And overall, I think the atmosphere yesterday was a very nervous atmosphere. I mean, you could see that play out, to be totally honest. But anyway, let's start with the side that lined up for us. So the same 11 that played in the last game with, I would say, one surprise inclusion on the bench, which was George Honeywood, who we expected to get for the rest of the season. So the team was young George Evans in goal. Back 4, Tristan Crammer on the right, the 2 centre-backs, Japhet Tanganga, Jake Cooper and Zach Sturge on the left-hand side for his second start in a Millwall shirt and at this level. The 2 central midfielders of Casper Denor and Jules Saville. On the right, Luke Cundle. On the left, Ben Yazid. And then the 2 up top, Josh Coburn and Mikhailo Ivanovic. For Swansea, similar sides to they've been playing, but one noticeable absentee was Harry Darling, the centre-back who usually partners Cabango in the centre of defence. But listening to Sheehan, I certainly want to speak to Sheehan. Listening to Sheehan's post-match interview, it sounds like it was a real late adjustment, which is why they ended up having 2 goalkeepers on the bench. And Del Croy played instead for Swansea. And I've got to say, I thought he was probably their best player, Del Croy. When I saw him, I was like, we're going to have him for toast. He's only a little lad for a centre-back. He bullied Coburn and Ivanovic majority of the time. Out-muscling them, strength, beating them in the air. He's on loan from Burnley, by the way. He looked like a decent centre-half. And yeah, I just thought I would reference that he's not usually their starting centre-back. So the game starts, and as I said, I think there was a nervous tension around the ground, right? And I noted down here that within the first 2 minutes, Sturge straight into action with Ronald, who I think we knew this would be a key battle. And I'm pleased to say over the 90 minutes, Sturge definitely won that battle. And that's great testament to him, because Ronaldo had an off day yesterday, but Swansea fans will know he's capable of a lot, and it was quite obvious that their plan, particularly in the first half, was just to get the ball to Ronaldo and try and isolate Sturge. Thankfully for us, Sturge really stood up to the task, and I think by about 20 minutes, Sturge had won 3 or 4 duels with Ronaldo, and I think that kind of set the tone for that particular battle. We should go 1-0 up after just 3 minutes, and look, hindsight's a wonderful thing. If we'd have scored so early, what would have happened? But we certainly should be 1-0 up. Kundal, I think they're attacking and we actually break through. Kundal does well, but he's not the quickest, so he kind of has to sort of slow down, turn on himself. But Coburn's managed to get ahead of him. Kundal plays a nice ball for Coburn. It just doesn't quite reach him, but I think it's actually Belfort. It's a mistake he made the whole game. He tries to cut it out, but in doing so, he puts it straight into the path of Coburn. Coburn bearing down on goal. He just gets it all wrong. I think he kicks the floor, but it's a golden opportunity, and we certainly should be 1-0 up. We then have a corner on 8, where I was disappointed actually from set pieces yesterday. That's one thing I will call out, because we had a significant height advantage against Swansea. It was really obvious, but yet we didn't make them play from an attacking sense. And towards the second half, they actually were starting to win a lot of their duels as well. So, but we have a chance on 8 minutes. Nothing really comes to it, and then we get our first sort of scare. It's a 1-2. It's really easy, too easy down that left-hand side. Timon plays a low cross in. It's half blocked by Tanganga. They're just enough, and it goes into the arms of George Evans. On 24 minutes, Sturge steps in, learning from Joe Bryan. Joe's very good at that, in fairness. He steps in, wins the ball, then goes on a little run. I think he plays a 1-2 in the season, won the corner. He creates a chance for Ivanovic to go for a corner. It doesn't really come to anything. Around the 20-minute mark, I felt they started to sort of gain control and possession. I mean, they were to go on and have 57% of the ball. They are a very possession-based side, Swansea. We knew that. We don't need the ball to win games. We know that now, watching our side. 32-minute Kramer, a lovely turn. At 32 minutes, we get a free kick. It doesn't come to anything. But a little while later, we do get the opening goal. This is a free kick. Now, I'm being honest, I've watched it back. I'm not so sure it was, but look, we'll take it. And what happens here is I was screaming when I saw Sav and Mikhailo at that ball. I was not, why is Femi not there? This is perfect for left foot, this angle. Why is he not there? The reason he wasn't there was because a well-worked, obviously, we end up scoring from, I think, the third phase, but a well-worked free kick where Saville just rolls it along the box. Aziz has a shot, it's blocked. There's then a bit of pinball, and it ends up with Aziz having another shot, which deflects into the path of Jules Saville, who's following up like all good players should, and using his right foot, manages to get it over the line past Bigaroo in goal. He wheels away in celebration. The ground erupts. Saville does the Mitrovic, or should I say the Ivanovic celebration, and we are 1-0 up. And I think, if I'm honest, we certainly deserve to win the first half by at least 1 goal, with the chances that were yet to come and accumulate. Instantly after, we should be 2-0 up. Denor, a superb ball in. Again, it's a breakaway. Coburn down the right-hand side. He holds the ball up, finds its way back to Denor. Denor is brilliant at this. When he's got the ball on the right-hand side, it's a whipped. It's a great ball in. He's done it so many times. He did it for Ivanovic for the goal against Portsmouth. He did it again at Blackburn, which didn't quite happen for us. But this is a great ball in, and it ends up coming to Femi at the back post. Femi does really well. He hits the post, and then his second effort goes just wide. And for me, the first half, a lot of what was good for us was, obviously we're playing on the counter, but we had 2 focal points to play to. And Coburn and Ivanovic were both willing runners. And for me, and I don't know whether Alex Neers stumbled on this formula due to availability. I don't know. You have to give him credit. But 4-4-2 is not a typical Alex Neil system. And I think he's found something here because since I've been, gazzed down Millwall, I started going in '95. Every good side that I've seen, they've had two up top. And I think two up top is just what Millwall should be. I really do. I think our successful side will always have two up top. And I quite like having two sort of biggish mobile lads that are focal point to a point. And I just think as well, having that outlet, it gets the crowd going. And to me, yesterday, every time the ball went forward, you kind of give yourself half a chance. I don't know. I just think that the two up top is a must for us. And whether next season that is Coburn and Ivanovic or someone else, I don't know. But I think two up top is definitely where we want to be. And if we're able to keep Coburn, great. But I would still want another centre forward as well. Coburn, I've noted down here that I felt that the lad Del Croy beating in the air and physicality a little bit too much. So look, I like Coburn and I wanted to sign him, but I do think that I want him to sort of. It's not the first time he's sort of been bullied, and I want to see him. He's a big lad, but he's quite slight. I want to see him maybe be able to handle those situations a little bit better. On 42, Evans does really well. A ball comes in, it bounces just in front of him. This is the first time that Sturridge has beat him, and Evans does really well to kind of scoop it just as the ball bounces in front of him. And then we have another chance, half chance in 43 from a really tight angle. Benazir does brilliantly to strike a half volley. Vigor has to get down low at his near post and push it out for a corner. But all that to say, I think we were good value for our 1-0 lead at half time. It could arguably have been 2. And despite what I'm about to come on to say that, Swansea definitely had the better of the second half, and I'm honest, probably should have scored. He actually ended the game on a much higher XG than they did. So that must be representative of all the chances you created in the first half, which you can sometimes forget, as obviously as it becomes a bit of squeaky bum time in the second half. I'll also mention the referee. So Ben Speedy, we've only ever had him once, which was a 2-0 victory away at Boreham Wood in the Cup. And it's a finish that day. And Mr. Hutchinson, which we're gonna talk about Mr. Hutchinson before we close out this. But I thought, given that he's only been refereeing at championship level since mid-January, I thought he won a better reps, actually. I think he got most things right. I think he allowed the game to go on. I think there was numerous from both sides. Saville does it a lot, tries to play for free kicks, and a couple of times they've played them down in boxes, but I think he didn't get too phased by the occasion and the reaction and things. I think he did well. And don't often say that about referee. So I thought I'd call that out. Second half, God, this was painful, wasn't it? We just needed that second goal. Well, we didn't, of course. We go on to win the game without needing it, but I just felt we did. And it was really weird because sitting next to my friends and my dad that we do, it was like, God, nothing's falling for us. You just got no luck. It did feel that every time a ball would ricochet somewhere, it would fall to Swansea. And is that because of their work rate and their pressing, or is it just because luck? But what I would say is, on the other hand, Lady Luck was looking over us because they had a number of chances that they should have converted at least once, and they didn't. And a lot of that was down to some great goalkeeping from Drew Jeffers. But before we do that, I want to talk about something happened on 53. So we get the ball away on 53, and they're pressing. They were brilliant at pressing the game. But the ball comes in the box, and Cooper manages to lift it over, gets in front of, I think it was Cullen, lifts it over the bar for 2 yards. He's just outstanding defending. And then the caller comes in, and who's there to head it away, and that is Jake Cooper. And I wanted to reference it because everyone's entitled to their opinion. But I've heard quite a lot of people say that, if the R8 to be Tanganga, it should be Tanganga and Cranmer as their 2 centre-backs. And I've got to be honest, I think that whilst having all 3 would give us a lovely problem to have, I just think Cooper is so underappreciated. It is so true. I think that the amount of first contacts he makes in the box, you don't realise because you just expect it. And it's only when he isn't there, and we missed him when he wasn't there earlier on in the season, I think you really realise the value that he brings. But don't get me wrong, I don't think he's a leader on the pitch. Off the pitch, he may be excellent, and I think he is, from what I've heard. All the other stuff that a captain has to do, and he'll need to step into that with Hutchie almost certain to go on. I want to see a bit more from him on the pitch in terms of leadership, but other than that, I don't think he's a portrait keeper, and I think he's had an excellent season. I just wanted to touch on that because, like I said, everyone football is all about opinions, and no one's always going to get it right, and no one's always going to get it wrong. And also, opinion probably wrong if it's an opinion. But I think that Cooper is very undervalued, and that was a perfect example there of a superb bit of defending, and then to go on and win the first contact again in the box. Wanted to mention that. On 56, this is, I believe, this is the big chance that they have from the winger, yeah, and someone think screaming at me now, saying it's this, it's this, it's this. Bear with me because I'm going to sit up, and quite dangerous to be fair. Eon, that was it. Eon, you son. So here, I think Femi slips. They then start to break, and it's poor defending from Cooper and Tanganga. I'm going to blame Tanganga here because if you watch it back, Tanganga, the ball goes between Cooper and Tanganga. Tanganga go towards it and it stops. So then Cooper has to react, and by which point it's too late. My assumption is that Tanganga didn't realise that Eon had made the run behind him. And then George Evans, brilliant. He comes out and all he can do is make himself big. And he does, and it is an outstanding save. At this point, I felt they were really starting to cut us open. We make the chamber on 57. Honeyman comes on the Cundall. Obviously, he said the surprise that he's available. But we just couldn't get the ball. The crowd were getting nervous, but also trying to lift the team. But we just could not keep the ball. We have one good moment. Actually, we had a couple of good moments, 63 and 64. What happens here is this is representative of the way we could plan under Alex Neil. Crammer seems to always find himself in a lot of space. And this is why I really like Crammer. And again, I thought he was outstanding yesterday. Absolutely outstanding. When you consider that he's not played at championship level before, he's come in, he's not needed any time to adjust, whether he's played centre back, right back, he's been available, he gets up and down the pitch, he's ball control, his decision making, he is an outstanding signing. And he is, I guarantee you, whatever we pay for him, and I don't know, I think it was under $1 million. He has double trebled it already. He is a phenomenal player, and quite quickly becoming a fan's favourite. I get the vibe he really likes it, but I thought he had an excellent game yesterday. But the way we play under Alex Neil, he has a lot of space, and this is why if we can bring in a proper attacking right back, they're going to have a field day next season because he always seems to find himself. And this is because the right midfielder, whoever it is, tucks in. So what happens is if the left back gets dragged out, so Crammer can find those spots. And he did it twice yesterday, and unfortunately, you then see why he's a centre-back. Because Coburn, great first-time pass out to Crammer. Crammer bearing through on goal. He's actually quite quick, Crammer, but he gets it all wrong. And I don't know if it's this one or the later one. He blazes it over the bar. Denor then plays a superb ball to Ivanovic, who shoots from a tight angle. Could have looked for Coburn, don't know, but wasn't really troubling the keeper. On 67, they then make a trouble substitution and also bring on hit a wrong Joe Allen, who, if you listen to the interview I did with Lee Gregory said he's the best player he's ever played with. I know, getting on a bit, but you know he's a good player to have in your locker for 20 minutes to try and unlock the defence. And another outstanding save. They brought in Popotnik as well, and Josh Triming, who I was also quite impressed with, puts the ball into the box, and Popotnik beats Tanganga to the ball a couple of times. Tanganga beat this today. And I feel want to tuck in Tanganga, who actually at the end, I think, comment on it as well. But a super save again for Evans, who springs off to get down low to the right-hand side. The corner then comes in, and this is where Tanganga goes down injured. I think he's gets an elbow to the nose or something. But he's got a bloody nose. They have a bit of a penalty shout. It was hard muted, but I'm honest, I thought it was a penalty. I've not seen any comments on it whatsoever. But I remember thinking in real time, that's a penalty. And I mean, it doesn't matter. We don't care. This is where Lady Luck maybe was on our side. Then Coburn goes off for Inaku. And this is, look, we end up winning the game, so it's fine. But Inaku, we just, he, defensively, I thought he was very poor when he come on. Chasing shadows. He looks slow and he's not. I just don't get it. I don't know if it's confidence or what with him, but he doesn't. And you can see Alex Neil berating it from the touchline. At this point, what we do is we move to just play one up top with Ivanovic and then kind of play a little bit beat up because we just couldn't get hold of the game. They had another chance on 75 from the Popnik. 77, another chance. I don't know how they didn't score this one. And then 78, again, another chance where the Popnik, it's the second phase of a free kick and he heads it and it is so close. I'll be honest, I thought that had got in. 79, another chance. We're now down the right-hand side and a great save again from George Evans, getting down low to push it out for a corner. They were just peppering us. That was their period. They had a 5-minute period between 75 and 80 that had 3 or 4 very, very good chances. From then on, I felt we needed to bring Leonard on, if I'm honest. And I don't know why we didn't. But a couple of scares from the corner. Wintle comes on for Castle in 86, who was dead on his feet. He looked absolutely knackered. A lot of the players did. He had another chance on 89. Obviously, they're pushing forward. Imaku does do well here. Holds the ball up. Again, looks out wide. Crammer available. 89 minutes, still bursting down the right-hand side. And he tries to lift it here. This is why he plays it over the bar. Could have potentially played in his but that would have really sealed the deal. On 92, Wintle makes a real first in-beat cameo appearance to win us a pro further up the pitch. And I also noted down 94 minutes, Ivanovic still chasing everything. And we see the game out and win it 1-0. And look, that was a very, very tough to watch second half. Very, very nervous. I think we did enough to win the game. Purely it's the grit and determination of the lads to throw everything. Credit Swansea for a really good side. I think obvious should make Alan Sheehan their manager. I don't think players make space for this football. A clear style of play as well, which I don't always see with other teams. So fair play to them. Brought some fans down and made a bit of noise, and obviously they ended the game happy with Cardiff going down. Ryan Wintle probably also was an interested party in that, wondering what he will end up with next season after the league did that contract. I want to give credit to Ryan Wintle actually because he's on loan. He's not really played, but yeah, every time he comes on, he busts the gut for this side, and I think that goes down again to the type of character that you bring in, and the fact that you bring come on 5-10 minutes every 2 or 3 games and give everything. And credit to him, and credit to the group again for having that. I think whatever happens, we need to realise how lucky we are to have the work that we do, because for what they may not have in quality, and I still stand by this. And by the way, this is not discrediting the lads at all, but to me, our team is not a top 6 side at all, particularly the ones that we have available at the minute. But that is, and Alex always says it is a group like no other. They're a pleasure to coach, a pleasure to work with. They give everything to each other and for us and for Alex Neil, and it's just a great time to be a Millwall fan, isn't it? I think whatever happens, it's really, really creates a really optimistic feel ahead of next season if we can just get that improvement balanced right. I think equally the importance of keeping certain leadership characters would. I've seen so many people say, yeah, we can get rid of Honeyman, yeah, we can get rid of Saville, Hutch, Harding, Murray Wallace. I don't think people realise, and if you listen to my interviews with David Ford and Lee Gregory, you will hear this, the importance of having those leaders in the dressing room. You cannot just get rid of all of them. And I'm sorry, you can't. Like, you have to have characters that set the tone for how it is to be a Millwall player. And the likes of Sam, the likes of Honeyman, Cooper are worth their weight in gold in that. Leonard. Personally, I'd keep Honeyman if he's willing to be a bit part player, and I'd keep Saville. I'm hearing lots of, rumours and things about Saville potentially having the opportunity to go to the US. And if that's his decision, that's up to him and that's fine. But for me personally, George Saville gets it. You can tell how much he wants a promotion more than anyone. He gets what it is to be a Millwall player. And look, I don't know what contract he wants. I don't know what he earns. I don't know what length of deal. But I think if there's a deal to be done there, you should keep George Saville because, in my opinion, on the pitch, as much as Jake does a lot off of it, on the pitch, George is the man. And losing huge characters over the summer, like Sean Hutchinson, is going to be really, really difficult. And you just cannot undervalue the importance of that. It started in my tenure. It may have started before, but it started with Jacket bringing in this kind of leadership of the group, and David Paul talked about this in terms of him, Gary Alexander, Neil Harris, Tony Craig, Paul Robinson, etc. Harris learned that when he came back as manager, he made sure he had that in the group, and then from that, Gary ensured that he had a dressing room that was able to continue that and to manage itself. And then obviously Harris come back, and that Alex Neil had built on that. So trust me when I tell you, you cannot just do a clean sweep. You've got to get that balance like next season of having this core of leadership that set the tone for how to behave, how to act, how to be a Millwall player. Bring in that bit of quality, Alex Neil's tactics to evolve the playing style and keep the ball a little bit more. Get that blend right, and we're in for a very good couple of years, in my opinion, at the Millwall. A couple other things I want to mention. I've seen this on a few tweets and a few forums. I couldn't agree more. I want to give a shout out to Andy Marshall. So Andy Marshall was credited, by the way, with the set piece routine by Alex Smith, the got us a goal. But he has dealt with a lot in the last year or so. He's obviously dealt with a very close friend of his in that Sarpich passing away. He then had to get Lucas for his first iffy patch at the start. To train Lucas. He's had all the stuff with Liam Roberts and whatever that has meant that he's had to step in and do. And he's also now, a young lad in goal. And obviously the credit has to go to Evans, but who he mad and that just achieved with that standing. So credit to Andy Marshall for that, because there's no way he hasn't played a huge role in that. And also, just as I mentioned, Matty Sarkic, I thought, I loved that tribute at the end. I thought it was a real classy act. And again, a classy act from Sean Hutchinson, who is someone that I am 99% sure won't get our club next season. He has been a humongous, tremendous servant to our football club. Scored one of the most important goals, in my opinion, in the 4-3 game against Bristol Rovers. He scored that last-minute goal. If he hadn't got in the playoffs, I guarantee you half of that squad that some of them are still here today would not have been there the next season. So a hugely important goal. Very, very popular figure and one of the best captains in the tenure of me supporting Millwall. So to come out and to do that as opposed to take, he could have takes all the gloss away from him. I thought that was a classy act from a classy man, Mr. Hutchinson. So I want to mention that. A couple other little talking points here. Say all this. I've written down where, you look at, we had one or two more points. So I've written down, obviously, what the home game. Now we lost that game at the start of the season. The Bristol City game away, where we come back and then threw it away. The Bristol City game at home, where obviously we ran out of steam after beating the 10 men by Palace a few days earlier. Oxford home and away. routed us, didn't he, at home and away. Again, we flew away against the really poor Oxford side at the time. Cardiff at home, how we didn't hang on and beat Cardiff at home. We're obviously relegated yesterday. And then the drubbings of Plymouth and Blackburn. Change any one of those results and it would be in our hands going into the playoffs. But look, always buts and maybes. It's plenty of games where we probably should have not got what we did. So it's swings and roundabouts, and we just go and enjoy it next week. Tanganga, yes. There's been a few comments as well around Tanganga in terms of you always prefer to play off the pitch and all this sort of stuff. He's a very quiet character. Obviously, part of the sponsorship of the shirt, you sit at the table, we have a chat when we have lunch. He's a very, very quiet character. He's just an introvert, and he's a model professional. If you read the article from Alex Neil, so I think that's just him. And as long as he performs on the pitch, I don't really care, to be totally honest. He absolutely loves it here. Whether he's here next season will depend on whether a Premier League club comes in and offers him football. If they do, I don't think he will be. But I am very confident. So I don't think he'll be going to another championship side, that's for sure. So we'll see what ends up with him. And then finally, I want to say a massive thank you to the Berylsons, because we've been in this position a few times with Gary Rowett, right? Obviously the Blackburn game. But I remember going away at Bournemouth when we had a sliver of a chance. But to be in a position where against sides, we're beating sides like Norwich, we're above the table of sides like Middlesbrough, we are punching above our weight financially, and we continue to make losses every year. But I've really enjoyed the second half of the season and what Alex Neil was doing, and I can only just thank the Berylsons for their continued amazing ownership and the trust that they that we as fans should have in them to look after our club that we love. So I thought I'd end on that, and just to say that was a little bit of a long one, but I had a lot of points that weren't just big game, but also just sort of overall that I thought I would just chuck in based on a few bits and bobs that I'd seen and read, and a couple of slightly different takes and things. So look, I'll leave it there. But as always, thank you for listening. I am not going to burn this. I'm gutted. I booked a lads trip to Cyprus months ago, and thinking there was absolutely no way that we were. It's certainly right. So I'm not here. I'm not in the country, but I'll be watching it from a bar in Cyprus. So fingers crossed. And if you're going up there, make some noise, as you always do. The Millwall away fans are just are they? Thank you for listening as always. Really, really do appreciate it. And so we buffed in his spot. Thanks as always. Bye for now.
Hi, it's Steve Morrison here, and you're listening to Chat with Chaps, chatting Millwall, come rain or shine.